Hello everyone, welcome to Mythic Championship Cleveland with me, your host Rich Hagan, co-host Maria Bartholdi, and from inside R&D, Mr. Paul Chion. Welcome to our preview. It's Thursday. Behind us, the players are getting ready for the first Mythic Championship, indeed ever, at the start of 2019. Can't wait to bring it to you, Paul. What are you looking forward to, my friend?
I'm looking forward to Standard. Now, Standard's been around for a few weeks, but it still feels like it hasn't been solved. There's an endless combination of decks. If you want to play monocolored aggro decks, there's 3 or 4 different decks you can play. If you want to play Guild, you can do that. If you want to play 3 colors, you can do that. And, you know, I've talked to some teams about the decks that they're going to play, and oftentimes it was just the strategy that you think that they would play.
Maria, I know that you love Limited. How are you finding Ravnica Allegiance?
I mean, it's awesome, Rich. All of the color pairs are viable, especially if you're the only person at the table drafting, say, the Gates deck or the really aggressive Rakdos deck. But there's one deck in particular that I'm looking forward to. You could say that I'm on high alert for it, if you will.
Yeah, but I won't and wouldn't. Okay.
Oh, sure.
So why don't we show you the schedule? My word. Should have rehearsed that one. Maria, what does it look like?
Okay, so of course we're going to kick things off with Booster Draft on Friday for rounds 1 through 3. And then, of course, it is Standard constructed for rounds 4 through 8. So players bringing a deck from home and playing in the Standard portion. Saturday, same thing once again. Booster Draft, Standard constructed. And then Sunday is our cut to our top 8.
Right. All over Seattle, the sound of piggy banks breaking have been heard over the last few months. We got some serious cash being given away in 2019. Here is the prize payout here at MC Cleveland, $50,000 to the winner. And even if we get, we added that bottom line, that 501st, because you know what, it's going to be a huge Mythic Championship here, and you get $500 as long as you get through the tournament. So you just turn up and play. That is the reward, even if you don't do terribly well, but a lot of money in between, $50,000 to the winner. Now, points. This is where things get a little bit interesting because we've sort of got a bit of an exchange rate thing going on, different currencies going on. Fundamentally, Paul, we've got 2 different things. We've got pro points, which is what we've had forever and ever and ever, amen, and mythic points moving forward.
Yeah, so Mythic Points, the reason why we came up with Mythic Points, this is basically a reimagining of what our current Pro Point system is. But moving forward, we needed a different system to basically be able to keep track of a leaderboard, to also try to mitigate ties at the end of the year, because now we're only looking to count your performances at the Mythic Championship. So we needed to come up with a slightly different point structure. But at the end of the day, it's very similar to kind of what we have for a Pro Point structure. Win matches, pick up points, and you know, that's going to set you up for the future.
Yeah, and we have 7 Mythic Championships to bring you. There's the Invitational at PAX, there's the World Championship, 4 Tabletop Mythics, and 3 Digital Mythics over the course of a really exciting 2019 season.
All right, well, Tim and Riley are standing by to give us a deeper dive and a look at draft.
The draft format we're kicking things off for this weekend, we've got Ravnica Allegiance, and quietly, I'm pretty excited. This is a format where players have had a little bit of a chance to explore. They've had a bit of a chance to figure out what they like in this format, and by and large, they seem to like a whole lot of stuff. All of the guilds in this format have some play to them. Personally, I kind of like the blue ones, but I've had players telling me they like Rakdos. I've had players telling me they like Gruul decks. All of these decks have merit, and that's before you start exploring all of the other options, and there are a lot of other options to explore.
There are a lot of niche archetypes in this format that we don't typically see in limited formats. Often if you bust open your pack, you find some build around uncommon. You know, obviously the Gates deck is the classic example of this, something like a Gatebreaker Ram, Gates Ablaze, and you're like, right, I'm jumping into this. But, you know, other cards like High Alert, you know, these build around some rares, even some mythics, they kind of instruct you how to build the deck around them, and you can come up with some real interesting decks, especially when other people kind of realize what you're up to, and they're just like, oh, yep, okay, this guy is to my right. He's drafting the Gates deck. I'm going to let him have it. And I mean, what we're going to see this weekend, because we're so late in the format, is the best version of all of these decks, right?
Yeah, these guys, they've had a chance to get a feel for exactly what the things are that make these decks tick. It's not just going to be a matter of working on the fly. When they see a key card that they like, they can really leverage that extra level of experience that they have and work on it. And to be honest, if we were looking at this being 2-3 weeks into the format, we might expect to see straightforward 2-color guild decks. And that's fine. That's lovely. If that's what you're drafting, there's some very powerful decks in that way. But I'm looking forward to seeing 3-color decks. I'm looking forward to seeing people picking up a gate early just so they can get that nice splash. There's a lot going on in this format, and I fully expect to see all the tricks from it this weekend.
Thanks very much to Tim and Riley. Now, when a new set comes out, we're always looking to see on coverage, what's the new standard look like? Is it going to be a good format? And when Ravnica Allegiance came out, it looked like it was going to be tremendous. And all the pros were going, this is fantastic, I can't wait to play this at the Pro Tour. And then we all just crossed our fingers and went, hopefully it's still okay, it hasn't been solved, it hasn't degenerated into just 1 or 2 super decks. Good news. Fingers crossed turned out to work. This is a great standard. And to tell you more about it, here's Marshall and Simon.
Thank you, Rich. So, Simon, normally by the time we have a Mythic Championship, the set's just come out. It's brand new. In this case, it's actually been out for a while. Where's the metagame at now?
Well, I would want to tell you that, but I honestly don't know. There are so many
That's
decks
good news, by
that
the
are
way.
still viable. And then at some tournament, you have 4 Is It Drake's List in the top 8. And then at another, it's all Esper and grindy decks, maybe Wilderness Reclamation combo. So Wide Open is definitely the story of the weekend.
Anything new, this format, we've had some tournaments already played, that we have some results to look at coming into this one. Has there been anything recent that's caught your eye?
So I think it's more like the subtle things. We have blue splashes in white weenie, so that's Azorius aggro for you. We have black and green splashes in mono red. And of course, Gruul, for me, one of the decks that is really putting on a really good showing. So many powerful cards, and no matter if you're playing aggro or mid-range or control, it's always scary to play against these Gruul hasty creatures.
What would you play?
I would play Wilderness Reclamation, probably in a Simic Nexus shell.
Ooh, I like your style. All right, let's send it back to the news desk.
Thanks so much. Well, this isn't only an individual event, of course. There's also the Mythic Championship Team Series to worry about, and Brian David Marshall is here to break it all down.
Thanks, Maria. I'm here to talk about the recently retronymed Mythic Championship Team Series, and of course, this is still going to use the old pro point system that Rich was talking about earlier to determine which of these teams will play in the finals of the team series. More prize money at the end of the year. And you can take a look at our top 16 teams here. We've got a little bit of a dark horse team at the top of the standings, Team Cardboard Live. That team is led by the last Pro Tour champion, Andrew Ellenbogen, a big part of that team's surge to the top of the standings. They're a little bit handicapped going into the rest of the year because they don't have full access to their team. Not everyone's qualified, but I talked to Andrew and he's like, yeah, no big deal. One of us will win another PT and we'll stay on top as we go through this year. The 4 finalists from the last 2 Pro Tour Team Series, all sort of conspicuous by their presence or absence in one case. You see Team Musashi back near the top of the standings, one of the great Japanese super teams with Hall of Famers and Grand Prix champions. Really exciting to see them back at the top of the standings after a disappointing second year in the team series. Of course, Team Ultimate Guard, Pro Team, and KMC Genesis, 2 teams. Ultimate Guard won it last year. Musashi had won it in the first year, playing against Genesis. Ultimate Guard and Genesis are teamed up. That house was so stacked. It feels like half of the Magic Pro League was staying in that house. But between the 2 squads, it's just unbelievable. Really can't wait to see what they do. And talking to Seth Manfield, he really hopes that the finals of this Pro Tour Team Series could be played at that kitchen table, right? Like he's hoping that it's just one of their drafts. But missing on this list in this top 16 is How Are You Latin. They had kind of disappointing last Pro Tour, first Pro Tour of the team series, and they're all the way down in 28th place. And Maria, they're just behind a team that you have a little bit of a vested interest in. So good luck, high five in the team series to you.
Thanks, BDM. I'm pulling for my boys out there.
Right, and Craig Wesco's going to be here.
That's
and
right.
He's recently announced that he's moving away from the game full-time to pursue ministry and so on. So, thoughts and prayers, as it were, to Craig Wesco and the rest of the GLHF team.
Thank you, Rich.
For
Thank
sure.
you.
Well, you've got 32 members of the Magic Pro League. You've got 450 challengers or maybe even more trying to knock them off their perch. 6 rounds of draft, 10 rounds of standard, and a top 8 on Sunday. You know what? It's going to be epic. It's going to be legendary. It's going to be mythic. We'll see you tomorrow.